Thanks for joining us. I'm Dale Minyo, and joining me is Adam Heffron. We're at the Ohio State Fair, and that's located on the Ohio Expo Center, and that's important because Adam is the new executive director here for Ohio Expo Center and the Ohio State Fair. And Adam, I guess I've got to ask you, first of all, tell us a little bit about your history, and have you been to the State Fair before?
Oh, yes, I have. Many a times. I worked here in the mid-1990s for about 4.5 years. And
but I heard they stuck you in an office and made you do paperwork.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I wasn't on the grounds eating cream puffs all day long. But no, I had a great job here. It was right out of college, and I worked in the rental office. So I worked with the different events that we would host outside of the fair. And then I managed the concessions and the commercial exhibits way back in the mid-90s. And got pulled out of here to another state fair and missed the experience. And when I saw this opportunity come up, I thought, I love Ohio and I love the fair, and this might be just the right place for me. So put my name in the hat, and here I am.
Well, speaking of putting your name in the hat, when did you decide a career as an executive director of a large fair, and depending on what part of the country, a state fair, and a facility like this? How did you get into that interest?
Oh, I was about 7 years old.
Okay.
So, interesting story. My father managed a fair, a state fair. And so one of his, I would say, his benefits to his job was to live on the fairgrounds. So I grew up on a fairgrounds in the Midwest and watched my dad manage a fair. And I thought, wow, this is really a neat way to make a living. And but when you're a child, it's all fun, right? All I see is the good. Didn't realize it was really hard work. It's a business enterprise. And so, but I saw all the fun in it, and that's all I ever wanted to do from when I was, I can remember how old I was, maybe 7 years old. And that was the course of action I took in life. My education is in the field of fair and exposition management, and did a couple internships around the country, and then landed a job here. One of my first career positions was at the Ohio State Fair and Expo Center.
Adam, I'm curious. You said you grew up on the fairgrounds. What did you have to do during the fair? Because did he let you run the grounds, or what was a day like at the fair at 7?
Well, I was the boss's son, so I got away with all kinds of things that a normal 5 or 7 year old couldn't get away with. But biking around the grounds at the age of 7, I got picked up by a couple of the maintenance workers, and they said, hey, you want to come hang out with us for the day? Threw my bike in the back of the truck and spent the day with the grounds crew, they were called. And I would hold flashlights or ride on forklifts or just get in their way, basically. And so every morning during the summer when I wasn't in school, I would walk down to the grounds crew 2 blocks down the hill and punch my time card, get paid $1 a week in an envelope when everyone else got their paycheck on a Friday at noon.
So they gave you the full experience.
I got the full experience, yeah. No labor laws back then, I guess, and OSHA wasn't a thing at that time, but spent my summers with the grounds crew. And then during the fair, my job was to collect tickets on the trackless train. So I would walk around and ask everyone for their ticket as they got on the train and put it in a bucket, jump back on the train and get to the next station and collect more tickets from people riding on the train. So very important job. So I did everything from light fireworks to sell T-shirts at concerts to ride as a safety patrolman on the racetrack safety crew during auto races. So I had the full meal deal there. I had a great experience doing just about anything you can imagine on the fairgrounds growing up.
Okay, you said it, full meal deal.
Yep.
All the fairs, all the years. What's your favorite fair food?
Never been asked that before. Let me think about it. In fairness, I want to be sort of fair correct and saying, I like all fair food. But that's not true. I discovered this morning through talking to another employee here that my favorite fair food is ice cream. Every day, middle of the day, I grab whoever's around me and I say, come on, let's get some ice cream. I'll treat. So I think my favorite fair food is ice cream.
You and I may have something really serious in common. I don't take fair ice cream home, but from county fairs, it's not uncommon for me to walk out of a couple half dozen fairs during the summer with a 4-gallon take home of homemade John Deere green ice cream. For those of you know Ohio, you know who makes that. So it's kind of fun.
Made with a tractor engine from a John Deere.
Oh,
tractor.
Well, Yes, way back. It's still, but yes.
Okay.
But it does its job, and it comes out, and you can find them in a number of fairs. And so I'd echo that. Ice cream. And your favorite flavor's up to you. That changes seasonally, but pretty cool.
Whatever sounds good. Yeah, the dairy building is my place.
Broad sweep as you look around the country. What are fairs? Are we regionalized? West is generally this, Southeast is this, Midwest is. Is there a stereotype that goes with fairs?
I get asked that a lot, comparing one fair to the other. And they all have the same elements. They're all agriculture related. And so there's that basic. And then you also have the food and beverage and the carnival aspect and the competition and the youth involvement. So I would say every fair that I've been associated with, whether it was in Canada at the Calgary Stampede and Exhibition or out in the California fairs or Midwest fairs, they all have that same element of agriculture and the focus thereof. And so there's always a little nuances, right? Because the community makes up the fair. So each community is a little bit different, and their emphasis or what they sort of are excited about and what they want to emphasize and participate in is always a little bit unique to that community.
Well, we're sorry the big slide's going, because that's for a lot of people a big benchmark, an icon to where to meet your family. The viaduct's still here. You could sleep under the viaduct with the kids some night. There's a lot of traditions. So why Ohio for you?
Well, I think several reasons. This is such a strong agricultural fair and so well embraced by Ohioans. And I remember that from when I was here in the mid-90s, and people just have a strong sense of ownership. It has all the basics, the roots of a strong agricultural fair here. The facility is remarkable. It truly is. It's in the center of a huge state population-wise, and it's well positioned geographically. The grounds is amazing in the size and scope of it, and it's just the potential, I think, is so great here. It has been with a long 170-year plus history, and I think the future looks even brighter with all the work that we have coming up on the grounds with the Expo 2050 plan that's in place.
So take us through that. I pulled in this morning, and when I parked, I looked over my right shoulder and didn't realize where the moving of one building being torn down opened up such a big view across the eastern half of the ground. So kind of give us a progression. When do you see things happening? What will people see before this year's fair, and what will be the last things that you see change?
Yeah, it's an aggressive plan that we have. It's really taking place over a 3-year period. So it started about a month ago. So we removed the old Buckeye building out of the far east side of the grounds, and we just took down the Ohio building, and then Ag and Hort comes down, the majority of the Ag and Hort building. But then out of the ground, you'll see some remarkable structures being built. The Showcase Pavilion, or the Showcase building, right in the center of the grounds where the Ohio building is located. Far east side of the grounds where the Buckeye building will be a multi-purpose complex. Our Ag and Hort building will be rebuilt over in that area of the grounds.
Now let's make, because you pointed out this morning, in all the diagrams I looked at, I didn't notice, when you're heading from west to east, the facade of the front of the old Ag and Hort is being preserved. They're going to structurally make it stay intact so they can build the new addition to it. I didn't realize that in all the old photos. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. So what we all sort of recognize from the Ag building, the Ag and Hort, is the great glasswork and brickwork on the facade. So we're going to keep that in place. So that'll stand up, almost like the Arc de Triomphe of the Ohio State Fair will be in the center of the grounds. And then everything kind of gets re-landscaped between Celeste Center and Bricker by the new Showcase Pavilion all the way over to the new multi-purpose Ag building. So just everything's going to pop on the walkways. We're doing a lot of infrastructure work in preparation for that. But more flow, more a town center in between all of that will be incorporated near that facade of the old Ag and Hort building. So just sort of a reimagining of the whole property and a more comforting environment and comfortable environment for our attendees. So it's spectacular. So it's really aggressive. To answer the second part of your question, what are you going to see? This year at the fair, you're going to see some progress. You'll see some areas somewhat cordoned off, for construction, and then you'll just see some signage and information about what's being built, and share with everyone that's coming to the fair the progress over the next couple of years, and then what the end result will be. So a little bit of a disruption just in the way, really, of some areas fenced off. I don't think anybody coming to the fair is going to notice a difference. What was in those elements of the buildings before will be relocated to different areas of the grounds, so all the programming will be the same. You won't miss any of the commodity groups' food. So whether it's ice cream or beef or poultry, it'll all be served on the south end of the grounds of the commercial building. So,
and a pork and steak fries and iced tea. I mean, with a big list there.
All of it, yeah. So it's all going to be here.
Now, it's the Ohio Expo Center, one of its, if not the biggest events, the state fair, but we also host Quarter Horse Congress and lots of other events. Anything in the long term, as you've always had a fairground you want to do blank with, and does this fit?
Wow, that's a big question. We, as I was mentioning, we host events. So we leave it to the Quarter Horse Congress, the Ohio Quarter Horse Congress, to come in and produce their event. And they do a remarkable job. We're so happy and proud that we're host of the Quarter Horse Congress. And that takes up a bit of the calendar, right? September and October. Good Guys Car Show is coming back again. Just had Beef Expo. They had their biggest event ever. I'm proud, happy to host that as well, and you were here for that.
Wow.
So it's it's a high demand facility, and with these new buildings being built, like Kasich being done a few years back, and then the multi-purpose ag building, we have the ability to host more events. So we're open to opportunities as they come. A lot of it we reach out towards, but most of it just kind of falls our way. We're a pretty well-known entity, so we have clients call us all the time. Can I have this event? Can I have that event? So we're really an open book as far as opportunities to hosting different events and activities on the property.
I've been visiting with Adam Heffron, the Executive Director of the Ohio Expo Center, home of the Ohio State Fair. Thanks, Adam.
Pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate it.